This video gives an overview of the academic integrity violation process from the point of view of an instructor. Reporting violations does take time, but it's important to hold students accountable when they do not act with integrity. A few introductory notes. There is an academic integrity website that contains information for both you and your students. It also includes tips and resources for you to minimize violations before they happen. The website also has the forms you need for the violation process. Tennessee Tech has an Academic Integrity Officer, or AIO. You can and should ask the AIO any questions about academic integrity. The AIO also manages the violation process, which saves you a lot of time. The academic integrity violation process follows Policy 216, Student Academic Integrity. Please become familiar with the policy because it is the authority of the process and supersedes information in this video and on the Academic Integrity website. This flowchart is an overview of the entire academic integrity violation process. I will briefly describe each step of this overview from the perspective of the instructor. Please visit the Academic Integrity website for a more detailed description of every step, including your deadlines. Deadlines are set by Policy 216. The entire process can last anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on how long students take to complete their steps and if there is an appeal. The process starts when you think one of your students has violated academic integrity, and that step is outlined in yellow on the screen. If you suspect more than one student in the same incident, you follow this process for each student. As soon as possible after you identify the potential violation, you must talk to the student. Ideally, you will meet with them, but emails back and forth can work too. If you are with the student at the time of the suspected violation, like during a test, you can talk to them immediately. In the meeting, you will explain what you think the violation was and ask them to explain the situation. Try not to be angry or accusatory and encourage students to ask questions. Typically, students don't violate academic integrity to disrespect you, so it's best to try not to take it personally. It is possible to hold them accountable for their violation and still care about them as a student. Most of our students admit what they did, and we have very few students who violate academic integrity more than once. After talking with the student, you decide whether you still believe a violation has occurred. If you no longer think a violation occurred, the process is over and there are no penalties for the student. If you still believe a violation occurred, you need to decide if you want to offer them a no-harm redo. This means the student can redo the assignment or test with no deduction in points for the violation. If you want to offer them a no-harm redo, then the student redoes the work and they do not receive any penalty. This is typically used when you want to make it a teachable moment and when you don't consider the violation a major violation. You handle this option yourself and you do not report this to your chair, the student's advisor, the AIO, or anyone else, and then the process is over. If you decide not to offer a no-harm redo, then you must fill out the charging document. This reports the violation to the university. On the charging document, you recommend a class-level penalty. The typical penalty is a 0 on the assignment or test related to the violation, but you can recommend another penalty. You send the completed document and additional documentation, including your course syllabus, only to the AIO. You do not send it to the student, your chair, or anyone else. Note that the documentation will eventually go to the student, so be aware of what you're including. From this point forward, after you send the charging document to the AIO manages the rest of the process. You will receive a confirmation email from the AIO that your document has been received. Read all emails from the AIO because those emails will keep you informed of the process and actions you need to take, including the deadlines. The Associate Provost in charge of academic integrity will review the charge and decide whether to add a university-level penalty. University-level penalties are added for students who have been previously charged and for extremely egregious violations. The AIO sends the charging document and all documentation to the student, you, the dean of your course, the dean of the student's major, and the associate provost in charge of academic integrity. The student meets with the AIO as the next step in the process. The AIO ensures they understand the charging document and their options moving forward. Students decide if they want to appeal. It is their right to appeal if they choose to do so. However, they cannot appeal if they do not meet with the AIO by their deadline. Students can appeal the charge and penalty if they claim they did not violate academic integrity, or they can appeal only the penalty if they admit what they did but feel the penalty is too harsh. If the student does not want to appeal or misses the appeal deadline, the process is over. The AIO sends an email to the student, you, and the same people copied on the charging document to notify everyone that the process is over and what the next steps are. You will implement your recommended class level penalty. The associate provost will implement the recommended university level penalty, if applicable. If the student wants to appeal, they must submit the appeal form to the AIO by the deadline. The AIO will email you that the student has appealed and ask for your availability to schedule the appeal hearing. Once the appeal hearing day and time is set, the AIO will email you when and where it is. You will present your case to the University Academic Integrity Committee, and then the student will present their case. The committee may ask questions of you and the student, and typically they do this. You and the student will then be asked to leave so the committee can deliberate and vote. The committee will vote for one of three options. 1, that there was no violation. That means the student is held harmless and receives no penalties. 2, a violation did occur and all recommended penalties should go into effect. Or 3, a violation occurred, but the recommended penalties should be reduced. The committee will decide what the reduced penalties are. This reduction may affect the university level penalty, the class level penalty, or both. After the hearing and vote is complete, the AIO sends an email to the student, you, and the same people copied on the charging document to notify everyone that the process is over and what the next steps are. If the committee voted to implement a class level penalty, then you will implement it. If the committee voted to implement a university level penalty, then the associate provost will implement it. Remember, the AIO is available to assist you in all things academic integrity related, whether that is before violations happen or during the violation process.